So if you want to be successful in this business, I would recommend putting the priority focus on these few things. Obviously, there's a million things you can do in the business world, which is what makes it the toughest sport out there. Hey, I'm Spencer Powell and welcome back to Builder Funnel TV. In today's video, I want to go over 5 things that every general contractor should prioritize if you want to be successful. Now, I've been fortunate enough and very privileged to talk to hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 remodeling companies, custom builders, contractors, all in the residential space over the last 11 years or so. And there are some themes and some trends that I have pulled out and kind of extracted from all of these conversations that I find make these companies successful. And so I want to walk you through 5 of them. Obviously, you can do lots more than this to be successful, but I think without these 5, it's going to be really, really tough. So the first one being is focus on profit first. Now, a lot of people get into this business and they just start moving ahead and they don't actually have a good grasp on their numbers. And so you end up just kind of charging what you charge to get your first few jobs, and then you learn a little bit more. And a lot of times people get stuck and they actually aren't charging enough, or they have too much waste and inefficiency in the way they deliver their product and the finished, service to the customer. And so you end up not really making a profit. You either break even or you're actually losing money. And so you've basically built this job for yourself, and then it's a draining job. So it's really stressful. You have all the responsibility, all the risk, and you're losing money. And so the first thing is to prioritize profit to make sure that you can survive and you're actually creating something that will be sustainable. And I do have a recommendation for you. I highly recommend that you go check out Profit First for Contractors. That's written by Sean Van Dyke, and you can pick that up on Amazon. There's also the original Profit First book, but we're in the industry, you might as well pick up Sean's copy there. And that is a great foundation, whether you're just getting started or maybe you just haven't got a good grasp on your numbers, or you always feel like you're strapped for cash and things aren't working very well. So that is the first one. People that are successful in this industry, they focus on making sure they're profitable. The second one is to learn sales and marketing. So I always remember this going way back to my days. I was interning with my uncle, and he had a custom home building remodeling business at the time. I think they also had a handyman division, but I remember we'd always go to taco time and grab lunch, and that was kind of my chance to get away from what I was doing as an intern and just ask him questions and learn about the business. And I remember one day he said, remember, nothing happens until something gets sold, and it's only after you make a sale that the revenue starts to flow in, you have a customer, you're actually doing the project, and everyone gets to work. Because if you don't ever sell anything, nobody gets to work, there's nothing to do. And so I think if you really want to build a lasting business in the residential construction space, you really have to learn marketing and sales. And obviously sales is what drives the revenue, but if you don't have any opportunities and you don't have any leads, then it's going to be really, really tough to make those sales. And so mastering those 2 things will ensure that you always have work flowing your way, and you will always have those opportunities. And so that is the second thing that I've pulled out from successful companies over the years, is they always have a good marketing program and they have a good sales system, so they don't lack for opportunity. All right, let's talk about the third one. Now, this is something that I see many, many people struggle with, and I think it takes a long time to work towards this, but it doesn't have to. I think it just naturally takes a long time, but if you're intentional about it, it doesn't need to. And that is hire somebody that can run operations for you. Now, I definitely experienced this in our business as well. And when you're in charge of revenue, sales and marketing, and then you're also in charge of operations, so client delivery and all of that whirlwind, then you tend to get sucked over here a lot. And you're dealing with, issues on the job site, client communications, team issues, like all of those things. And then marketing and sales suffers, or it suffers for a little while, and then you go, uh-oh, and then you jump back here and you start to pick that back up again, and then you get busy over here. And so you just kind of keep bouncing between the two. the sooner you can put somebody in charge of operations, pull yourself out of that, or at least out of most of it, out of 80-90% of it, then you will focus on sales and marketing, and then you can actually push the company forward, and then that creates lots of opportunity for your team to grow, and you can build this side in terms of the operations and how you deliver. But if you're always bouncing back and forth, you'll just get stuck and you won't keep moving forward. So I would recommend finding a way to do that as quickly as you can so that you can focus on moving the company forward. All right. Number 4, focusing on a niche. Now, this is something I've talked about in other videos, so I won't do a deep dive on it, but I found that the companies that are really successful and the most profitable typically have a pretty narrow focus. So it could be in the type of customer they serve. It could be in the areas they work. Maybe it's just a couple of neighborhoods. Most commonly, it's the types of projects. So maybe you only do additions or whole home remodels, or maybe you only do kitchens and baths or just kitchens. The more you focus, the more you speak to your customer on your website and in your marketing material, the better you get in terms of efficiency, and that drives profitability. So there's so many benefits to focusing, but I find the people that, I'll talk to them and they say, yep, we do, residential. So we do, some kitchens, some baths, some additions. We'll do a little bit of, exterior work, that sort of thing. And they're like, and, we usually take on 1 or 2 commercial jobs a year, and I'd really like to, grow that. And I think they get sucked into that because those jobs are bigger and they just sound better. But I'm going, well, how are you going to market to all of these people, especially if somebody hits your site and they're going, oh, these guys do residential and commercial. They must be too big for me. Like, I just wanted to do a kitchen, but they do these big commercial things. Like, you're sending the wrong signals. So the people that spread themselves too thin in terms of their focus typically have a tougher time, scaling and getting to the next levels. They'll oftentimes just kind of stall out at, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, wherever it is, but kind of in that range. And then all of a sudden, you're too fragmented. You've got too many things going on, different systems, and it ends up, not working at least to the scale that they want to get it to. So that's the 4th thing. And then the 5th one is build up cash reserves. So have 3 to 6 months operating expenses in cash for a rainy day. And I put this one in here in this list because I was really thinking about, hey, we're talking about successful companies here and the ones that stand the test of time and they're able to grow. And it's always the ones that are able to weather the downturns and the slow times. And you only do that if you have a runway of cash. And so if you're focusing on all of these things, you're focusing on being profitable, you can put that cash away for the rainy day. If you're focusing on sales and marketing, hopefully even the low times aren't as low as they could be because you're generating opportunities when maybe your competition doesn't have a good marketing program. And then, of course, you've got that cash to lean on. So those are my 5 things that I've pulled out of hundreds of conversations over the last few years. So if you want to be successful in this business, I would recommend putting the priority focus on these few things. Obviously, there's a million things you can do in the business world, which is what makes it the toughest sport out there. But starting with these 5 will get you to the next step. All right, guys, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.